Banking Ombudsman scheme is very important to understand from the customer complaint point of view, because this has been started by RBI, so that the customers, those who are facing some problems in the bank, they have somebody who is hearing and who is taking prompt action. Because before going to court is a very troublesome, very painful thing for anyone. So this ombudsman helps these type of customers by addressing such complaint. So in this video we are going to understand what is banking ombudsman scheme, how RBI operates it, how you can file the customer complaint, and what kinds of awards or redressals are done. We will also have some MCQs which are important for exam perspective. So starting with the Banking Ombudsman scheme. So this scheme is last revised in 2006. So you have to know that the Banking Ombudsman scheme is Banking Ombudsman scheme 2006 as per the year. And the Banking Ombudsman is also a designation of the officer who is called BO in short, Banking Ombudsman. And normally these people are GM, General Manager, or Chief General Managers of RBI. So these are RBI's official, and they are normally appointed by RBI for a period of 3 years. So this period of appointment may be plus or minus depending on RBI's requirement, but normally it is appointed for 3 years. And the office of Banking Ombudsman office is located at various locations as mentioned on the RBI website. You may not remember all, but now there are some more than 20 plus Banking Ombudsman offices, and these are mostly in RBI's premise, RBI's office. So you can say that this is like an RBI department, but exactly not, because they do not report to the local RBI office. So they are a separate body, and it has its own secretariat, Banking Ombudsman. So they have their own staff, but all these expenses of running the Banking Ombudsman is taken care by the RBI. The purpose of Banking Ombudsman is a person who has any grievance against the bank can file a complaint, and the complaint has to be filed in the Banking Ombudsman in whose jurisdiction the bank comes, or if the bank is like a central service, maybe a credit card or something. So in that case the customer can file a complaint in the Banking Ombudsman in which area, in whose jurisdiction the customer lives, his address in the banks. And these complaints can be filed by online application, it can be sent by email, and it can be on a printed letter or a handwritten letter which can be sent to Banking Ombudsman office, or any other means in written communication to Banking Ombudsman office. The address of the Banking Ombudsman office are mentioned on the RBI website, and if you are really interested in knowing all this, so in the video link at the description you will find the link to the relevant page of the RBI. You can go there, and sometime it can be helpful if you have really a grievance against bank, or somebody approaches you that this bank is not listening me, what I can do. So you can find out the address of Banking Ombudsman and tell him to contact there, and it really helps. It is very fast, so that I can tell you that it works very fast. This is not like a typical bureaucratic procedure, because most of the time Banking Ombudsman, what they do, they ask the bank, and normally it is settled with agreement without passing any award. Award means it can be a penalty for the bank also, but normally it doesn't reach to that level, because the moment Banking Ombudsman write to the bank, banks are prompt in taking the action. Now important point is what kinds of grounds can be there for the complaint, because every complaint cannot go to Banking Ombudsman. There are some areas about which you can complain. So I am listing down some here, and you will understand what kind of complaints can be taken care by Banking Ombudsman. So you cannot like complain to Banking Ombudsman that some bank is not giving me the loan, because giving the loan or not giving the loan is the discretion of the bank. So let me tell you what are the complaints on which you can approach Banking Ombudsman. Regarding non-payment or delay in the payment of the check, draft, bill, non-acceptance without sufficient cause of small denomination note or charging commission for this. Likewise, non-acceptance of the coin or charging commission for this. Non-payment or delay in payment of the inward remittance. The money has come to your account but bank is not paying. Failure to issue demand drafts, pay order, banker's check, Non-adherence in prescribed working hours, so you are not getting the customer service within the prescribed hour. Failure to provide banking facility, so as I told in the advance, that loan not about loans and advance, so you cannot say that bank is not giving me the loan, so I will go to banking ombudsman. This can be exam question, right? Please remember this, and remember that loan is nobody's right. That is why actually the job of the banker is important, so you are preparing for the job. Okay, next point, promised in writing by a bank or a selling agent, but it is not done for you. Delays of non-credit proceed to the party's account. Remember here again, non-credit proceed. So if it is a loan and then there is a delay by the bank in sending the proceed, then it can be different. But if the money is to be sent from your account, your money, so against that also you can complain to banking ombudsman. Non-payment of deposit or non-observance of the RBI directives. It may be related to rate of interest on deposit in saving, current or any other account maintained with the bank. Then complaint from NRI having accounts in India in relation to their remittances from abroad, deposits and other banking related matters. So here the thing to understand is that if an NRI is maintaining some account with a bank abroad, suppose SBI New York branch, there is some complaint, banking ombudsman in India will not take that. Remember that. Again, this can be exam question, which of the following will not come under banking ombudsman jurisdiction. Right. Next point is refusal to open deposit account for any valid reason, or refusal means if you have all KYC document and bank is not opening account, you can go to BO. Levying of charges without adequate prior notice to the customer. Non-adherence to the instructions of RBI on ATM card, debit card or prepaid card. Operations in India by the bank and its subsidiaries. So here again see this line carefully, operations in India, because if the operations are outside India, it will not come into banking ombudsman's jurisdiction. Non-adherence by bank and its subsidiaries to instructions of RBI on credit card operation. So on credit card also you can complain if bank is not following the RBI directions. Non-adherence to the instructions of RBI with regard to mobile banking, electronic banking services, and also non-adherence to the RBI guidelines on say delay in disbursement of pensions or refusal to accept or delay in accepting payment toward taxes as required by government or RBI. Refusal to issue or delay in issuing or failure to service or delay in servicing or redemption of the government securities. So if it is applicable for that government security, so this kind of complaint also can go to banking ombudsman. Forced closure of your bank account without due notice or without sufficient reason, you can complain to banking ombudsman. Refusal to close or delay in closing the account. So sometimes bank they don't close your account, you want to close and there are excuses given. So this also can go to banking ombudsman. Non-adherence of the fair practices code as adopted by the bank. So here also it complaint can go to BO. Non-adherence to the provisions of the code of bank's commitment to the customers issued by the BCSBI. So you shall know the full form of BCSBI. Here this can be exam question sometime. BCSBI is Banking Codes and Standard Boards of India. So this is a separate body and the customer service code of BCSBI is adopted by, as I remember, almost all the bank. So if there is any non-adherence to these codes, one can complain to banking ombudsman. Non-observance of RBI guidelines on engagement of recovery agent by the bank, because RBI has issued clear guidelines that there should not be any forceful recovery, it shall be within the official time, at the official address, etc. etc. So RBI guidelines shall be adhered for the recovery agent. If there is any non-observance on that, one can complain to banking ombudsman. Non-adherence of RBI guidelines on para-banking activities like sale of insurance, mutual fund, other third-party investment, the sale of such product by the bank. So here also, if there is any non-adherence to RBI guidelines, you can complain to BO. Any other matter relating to the violation of the directive issued by RBI in relation to the banking and other services. So against any RBI's guidelines violation, one can complain to banking ombudsman. In addition to the general things above, so we as a customer can also lodge a complaint on the following grounds of deficiency in relation to the loans and advances, because in general the complaint is not accepted for loans and advances, but certain type of things on loans and advances are also considered by Banking Ombudsman. These are non-observance of RBI directive on interest rate. So like RBI says different kind of interest rate for priority sector lending, it is related to like MCLR. So all RBI directive shall be followed. If you observe anything the bank is not following, one can go to Banking Ombudsman and complain. Delay in sanction, disbursement or non-observance of the prescribed time schedule for disposal of the loan application. So here understand it clearly, this guideline is not saying that delay sanction or disbursement of the loan, it is saying disposal of the loan application. So within the given time, bank shall either disburse, either sanction, or bank shall say no. There shall be a clear-cut written rejection mentioning the reason, so that the customer knows that this loan is not sanctioned, his time is not wasted, and there may be a sufficient reason for rejection. Non-acceptance of application for loan without furnishing valid reasons to the applicant. So bank is saying I am not accepting your loan application. That kind of complaint also can go to Banking Ombudsman. So bank has to accept the application, then say no in writing. Non-adherence to the provisions of the Fair Practice Code to lenders as adopted by the BC Code of Banks Commitment to Customer, as the case may be. So here also whatever is the code of the bank for customer service, that has to be adhered, and a non-observation of any other direction or instruction of RBI from time to time. So all RBI directions, all customer codes related to loans also shall be followed, else the customer can go to Banking Ombudsman. And complaint to Banking Ombudsman can be made only if, so here also you need to understand this, that directly you cannot go to Banking Ombudsman. First you have to lodge the complaint with the bank. So these are the conditions before going to Banking Ombudsman, what the customer needs to do before making complaint to the BO. So customer has to make a written complaint, written representation to the bank, and the bank, if the bank had rejected the complaint, or the complainant had not received any reply within a period of 1 month after the bank received the representation of the complainant, or the complainant is not satisfied with the reply given by the bank. So first one has to represent to the bank. If the bank is not replying within a month, or if the customer is not satisfied with the reply, then only the customer can go to Banking Ombudsman. Also, the complaint is to be made not later than 1 year after the complainant has received the reply from the bank. It shall not be very old complaint. The complaint is not in respect of the same cause of action which was settled. So if it is settled earlier with the bank, then you cannot go against to BO, or if it is settled earlier by the Banking Ombudsman, then also second time you cannot go there, you cannot go to BO. The complaint does not pertain to the same cause of action for which proceedings are there in court, any tribunal, or with any arbitrator, because Banking Ombudsman is not going to pass any judgment or not going to deal with such complaint for which there is a matter pending in the court, any tribunal, or any legal body. So by now you have understood the purpose of the Banking Ombudsman scheme is to actually improve the customer service in the banking, and not to become a judicial body, or not to become a judgment passing body, not to do anything with the work with court does. So based on the RBI's authority to give directions to the bank, Banking Ombudsman monitors that customers are getting banking facilities as per the RBI guidelines. Now coming to the questions. Who is the appellate authority for Banking Ombudsman scheme? CJI, Chief Justice of India, Finance Minister, Governor RBI, Deputy Governor RBI, Chairman of the respective banks against which the complaint is there. So the answer to this is Deputy Governor RBI, and deputy governor who is handling the department under which Banking Ombudsman scheme is operating. Next question, which of the following is not correct about Banking Ombudsman scheme? So Banking Ombudsman may award compensation up to 1 lakh to the complainant for mental agony and harassment. And read all this statement, because only one is incorrect, rest are correct. So you shall actually remember the correct statement for the exam purpose. Banking Ombudsman endeavors to promote through conciliation or mediation a settlement of the complaint by agreement between the complainant and the bank. So I told you this thing, actually this is the main job of the Banking Ombudsman, that most of the complaints are settled through mediation. Banking Ombudsman charges a fee of ₹1,000 for filing and resolving customer complaints. Have we any time discussed about fee? Complaint to the Banking Ombudsman may be filed by one's authorized representative other than any advocate. So as I told that advocates are not required because Banking Ombudsman is nothing similar to a court. So only the person or any authorized representative of the person can go to the Banking Ombudsman. So here, as I told that I have not talked about any fee. RBI takes care of all the expenses of the Banking Ombudsman office. There is no fee for it. It is for free. So all except option C are correct. Option A, statement A, B and D are therefore correct. Read this again because next time the question may be different. Read option A, option B and option D and remember this. Next question. This question actually, because somebody suggested me that whatever question I am discussing in the last video, I shall take up in next video. So that's a good idea. So this question I asked in the last video about the PCA, prompt corrective action. So which of the following bank is not under prompt corrective action? So in fact in today's news, the news was that another 5-6 banks are there in the list which can be under PCA. Though it is also expected that RBI may give some more leeway so that they don't fall into PCA. So from this list, you know IDBI Bank is in very bad shape and so is like IOB, and on United Bank also long back PCA was applied, and also on Canara Bank, also on Corporation Bank. So Canara Bank is comfortably actually in a quite decent position, and I don't see there is any chance that Canara Bank is falling under this. So correct answer to this, because I wanted you to reply on the comment section. So some of you have replied, and yes, the correct answer to this is Canara Bank. Now last question today. Banking Ombudsman may reject or not consider the complainant for all of the reasons mentioned below except. Statement 1. One has not complained with the bank before coming to Banking Ombudsman. So we discussed this. One has to first go to the bank. So yes, this option is right. Banking Ombudsman may reject. It will reject. The complaint is in a court of law. So on this ground also it will be rejected. It will be rejected actually. Compensation short is more than 10 lakh. So I don't think we have discussed anywhere that the limit of the compensation short. So this is mentioned in the scheme. So the correct answer to this is actually, if the compensation short is more than 20 lakh, then it will be not considered by Banking Ombudsman. So here the answer is C, and you have to remember this limit of 20 lakh. Next option, read this also. The complaint is without any specific cause. Yes, it can be rejected if there is no specific cause mentioned. And when the Banking Ombudsman feel there is no loss or no damage or no inconvenience caused, in that case also it may not be considered by BO. So here the correct answer to this is C, because Banking Ombudsman cannot take when the compensation short is more than 20 lakh. Now this is the question. You have to answer the last question for today. Which are the banks covered under the Banking Ombudsman scheme? Scheduled Commercial Bank, Regional Rural Bank, Scheduled Primary Cooperative Bank, or all of the above three, or none of the above. So answer this question. by replying on the comment section below. Based on your comment, I will also cover this question in the next video, but if you reply, so that will help in your learning, and maybe I can add my comment into your reply. Thanks for watching the video. See you in the next video.